Hey guys, hope everybody out there is having a great night. I mean, you must be because you're hanging out with JBM Sports Media. We got a lot to discuss. We had a lot of odd baseball play out today. We got a couple of game threes, a potential on the way. The Dodger and Cincinnati game isn't over yet, but I want to kick it to Joe and Ben, and let's get some thoughts around what we saw today.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: that Cleveland Guardian and Detroit Tiger game was a snooze fest up until about the eighth inning. It was a well pitched game, I'll say that, but no depth. Tanner Bybee went four in the third, I believe, and Casey Mize went 3 innings today. So no depth from the starting rotations on both ends. It's going to be interesting to see how the bullpens react tomorrow coming into a game like this. I honestly think that Cleveland has the same problem. It's offense, it's scoring runs. Like I said, they got the big the big eighth inning. They scored 5 runs in the eighth. It kind of set the tone towards the end of the game and blew the game open. But Detroit, I think, was 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. I mean,
Horrible.
It's unacceptable in a playoff game. I don't care where you are in the standings, the seeding, wildcard team, division winner. You can't go 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position. It's not winning baseball. It's not going to get you far, in this type of time, time during the year. So I personally think that Detroit has a lot of problems offensively. Their bullpen, to me, isn't trustworthy. I think Cleveland has to figure out a way to score runs. I don't know how that's going to work. They had like 4 guys in that lineup that are not hitting. It's basically half your lineup. The same thing for Detroit. They have 4 or 5 guys in there that are putting up offers right now. So. And it's more to the middle of their lineup, actually, middle to the bottom of their lineup. So when I see that, it's going to come down to starting pitching. It comes down to who's going to be able to get big outs, who's going to be able to move runners with scoring position. I think both teams are struggling with that. Like I said, if Cleveland didn't have that 5-run eighth inning, that game could still be played. It could be still going on. That's how I think of it. It could have been a battle of the bullpens at that point, but Cleveland was able to pull away, and I think Detroit has some problems going into tomorrow. I really do.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I think the problem with Detroit is that they broke a franchise playoff record of leaving 15 men stranded on base.
15. Okay.
15. That is absolutely putrid. That's not going to win you no playoff game. I think I've seen a lot of Tigers fans talk about this on social media as the day has progressed. They said it was one of the most frustrating playoff losses they've seen in their lifetime because just how winnable that game was for them to a point where, how are both of these offenses going to step it up tomorrow? They both look like they're in shambles. Credit to the Guardians bullpen. They really showed out today. Even when they had some trouble on the bases, they kept their composure and they got through it. The Guardians bullpen, I think they deserve the MVP of the day. In the eighth inning, both Bo Naylor with that exclamation point 3-run shot, that really puts stuff into perspective. And that was basically the game. I know Kate Smith had a little bit of an issue in the ninth. He was walking a few batters, but regardless, they got through it. I think this is Cleveland's series now to lose. I think Cleveland has a lot of momentum going into tomorrow. Detroit, very disappointing. They could have ended that series today, and it would have probably boosted their morale heading into Seattle. But now I low-key want to see both of these teams out of here. Offensively, in the playoffs right now, they both look like they don't belong in the playoffs. I got to be honest. They don't. I know the pitching has been fantastic, and tomorrow it's Jack Flaherty versus I forgot who the Guardians pitcher that's going at it tomorrow. But regardless, it's not really the best baseball being played. Pitching-wise, yes, but offensively, it's a lot of snooze fest if you ask me. I'll throw it to Mike real quick.
Yeah, I mean, overall, but this is what you're going to get in playoff baseball as well. I mean, not so much the leaving guys on and running and, leaving guys on base with runners in scoring position being, what you said, 1 for 14. I mean, that is atrocious. But overall, I mean, in the playoffs, 1 run is almost like 2. So a lot of these games, for the most part, outside of the Dodger series, everything's been tight. It's kind of the way it's been. It's crazy, too, because if you look at Cleveland and Detroit, heading into the end of the season, it felt like the Cleveland pretty much not owned Detroit, but sort of. And also to Detroit's credit, I guess. I mean, I who am I to say this, but do they even belong in the playoffs right now? I mean, if it wasn't for the Astros completely falling off the map, I mean, Detroit wouldn't be here. Right. They honestly had one of the worst collapse in baseball history, and it's getting overshadowed by the fact that they snuck in by the skin of their teeth. And I mentioned this on the last episode that we did when we did the Diamond Discussion crossover. Tomorrow it could really go either way. I'm still sticking to the guns. I'm saying Cleveland's going to pull this out. I don't know how they're going to do it. I think I think tomorrow's going to be a wild one, if I'm being honest, because what version of Jack Flaherty are you going to get? He's been Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde all season long, where he'll give you a good start, he'll give you 4 bad starts, then a good start, and then he doesn't know who he is. So I don't know, what version are we really going to see of him tomorrow?
That's a good point, because their bullpen to me is not the best either.
No.
So it's not like they're handing off. Let's say Flaherty goes 4 and he doesn't have it, and they're still in the game. Let's say it's a 2-2 game, a 1-1 game, but he's got 80 pitches and he doesn't have it.
Right.
At that point, the momentum goes to Cleveland.
Absolutely.
If you take a look at what their pen did today, their pen shut them down. I mean, like I said, Bybee went 4 2/3, but their pen came in and they were scoreless the rest of the way. So that's something that you could rely on. Detroit doesn't have that ability and that luxury, to be honest with you. And like we said, we also said that with their starting pitching. All 3 of us said that. After Casey Mize and Skubal, who are you relying on after a 2-game set? It's really tough. Like we said, Jack Flaherty, yes, he's the number 3 on paper, but is he really a number 3? No,
I don't know.
To me, he could be left off a wild card roster if he was on any other team. He may not be in the starting rotation on any other team. Let's say he was back in LA, he'd probably be coming out of the pen.
Yeah.
At best.
He wouldn't even be in the starting rotation. And like you said, yeah, Mike, at best, that he may would have been in the bullpen. So
he was too much of a liability all season long.
Yeah. So and just to go over the starters, it's Flaherty tomorrow, obviously, like we said, and it's Slade Ciccone for the Guardians, which is not sexy. It's not a sexy name at all. But if he can get you through 4 or 5, and they're in the game, I'm going with their bullpen. I'm going with Cleveland's bullpen to take over that game.
That's the point.
And win it. And check it out. Their main guys didn't even give an inning. Hunter Gaddis, 2/3. Sabrowski, 2/3. They had their main guys didn't have a go in inning, and the pitch count was low. 20 pitches, 13 pitches, 18 pitches. These guys are ready to go. They could go tomorrow with no doubt.
Yeah, and you know what? Even with that, it's all hands on deck for them tomorrow. It's all hands on deck for both sides. Maybe outside of, I don't know, do we see an appearance by Skubal in this game? I mean, and if that's the case, and Detroit ends up moving on, then where is he going to fall in the next round? If that's the case, with the relievers, I think they're going to go nuts, because if they do win the series, if you obviously lose, you're out. But if they end up winning the series, they got a few days before they got to go out to Seattle and play a game. So
that's a great point. That's honestly a great point. You brought this up right now. I remember last year when the Brewers played the Mets, Freddie Peralta came in the 8th inning for the Brewers in, what was it, 2 days rest? Not even just a day, and then the next day he pitched again. It wasn't because he was very much needed, but it was more secure. It was a secure point. One of the Tigers bullpen pitchers that had the atrocious 8th inning, I call it the jobber of the game, because he truly jobbed that. Troy Melton, I believe is his name.
Troy Melton, yes.
Absolutely putrid. He sold the game. I mean, I understand the Tigers offense. Like I said, it's to the Tigers offense, but also as well to himself, because he didn't put no type of help for the Tigers. And even they were threatening in the 9th. They could have maybe came out with something right there, but nothing. They came out flat.
He had 4 earned runs in a third of an inning. Melton today.
Come on.
That's not going to win you games. That's not going to win you games. It's really not.
And like I said, Cleveland is offensively stunted. They are not a good offensive team.
No.
So that just shows you how bad Detroit's bullpen is when they're giving up a 5-run 8th to an offensively stunted team. You can't be giving up 5 runs in the 8th inning in a playoff game, especially. It's not conducive to winning baseball. And Detroit has to realize that. But Detroit also hasn't played well in 2 months. So should we be really surprised?
That's a good point. Jay, are you keeping your prediction the same, or are you switching it up for Game 3 tomorrow?
No, I have Cleveland in 3. That's what I picked. That's what I'm going with. I just think it's a battle of the pens. I think Cleveland, they scrape 2 or 3 runs across, and that might be enough.
That might be enough. Yep. And you know what? My heart's saying Detroit. I want to stick with my prediction. I think I am going to, but would not be surprised. Cleveland now has the momentum after that 8th inning. Would not be surprised if they take it tomorrow and actually maybe a 4-2 game, 3-1 maybe, something like that. But I could also see it the other way. What if we do see an appearance by Skubal in the 8th inning, or maybe even the 9th inning? What if you close It's crazy, but you never know. You never know if they really want to save their season, which obviously
All
they
hands
do.
on deck. All hands on deck.
Now,
Um,
game one of the ALDS is Saturday, so
Yeah.
they'd have to really consider what they're going to do there.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was one of the most uninteresting games. I really liked this game, even though the score was 3-0. I'm talking about the Padres and Cubs, but I liked it because of how dominant we finally saw that Padres bullpen and how it could truly be living up to expectations. The Padres win game 2, winning 3-0. Yeah, Manny Machado, the difference maker, the 2-run shot. I believe it was in the 5th inning off Shota Imanaga. Man, that was pretty much it. As soon as he hit that 3-run shot, that 2-run shot to make it 3-0, that bullpen came into effect. There was no going back. What do you guys think about that game?
Well, I personally think Dylan Cease's pitch count was the reason why he got pulled from this game. He had 70 pitches in 3 2/3 innings. So that to me is why the bullpen came in a little earlier than expected. The fact that he couldn't get through 4 is a little alarming to me. Listen, I know that San Diego has a great bullpen. They are built for the postseason. They literally made those deals and those trades to gear them up for this time of year. But if you're going to have your starting pitchers go 3 2/3, how much longer are we going to say that we could trust San Diego's bullpen? At some point, they're going to become taxed. Every single pitch is a huge pitch. Every single out is an intense out. Every single at bat is so intense that some of these guys haven't experienced that before. Mason Miller definitely hasn't. You guys have the rest of that bullpen, Suarez, Morajan. How much can we really ask from these guys that we haven't seen before? They haven't really been in high leverage spots all year. They haven't really been in high leverage postseason spots before. So to ask them to get 5 2/3 to clean up the rest of that game is not conducive to winning baseball either. I don't think they're going to be able to do that the rest of the playoffs. They're going to need some stability from that starting pitching.
That's definitely a fair point. Listen, San Diego did basically, like you guys said, you hit the nail on the head. They did everything as expected. I mean, you give this bullpen a lead of any sort going into the later half of the game, and it's almost shut down, lockdown, game over. Let's call it now. Listen, we all had, from what I understand, if I remember right, I think we all had the Cubs getting swept here.
Yep.
So listen, they stole game 1, rightfully so. They had a great game 1. I think this is relatively going to be more of the same of what we're going to see tomorrow. I mean, we got Darvish versus Tyone. Me personally, I'm going with the experienced hand. Darvish has done this before on multiple different teams in multiple different situations. He seems to always rise to the occasion. I'm shell shocked by you, Darvish, because he pitched great against the Mets a few years ago in the wild card round. So he's been there, done that. So like I said, I'm going with the experienced hand, and overall the veteran presence. Tyone, yeah, he's a vet as well, but I mean, we're talking Yu Darvish and Jameson Tyone. I think we're going to take Yu Darvish every day of the week. No disrespect to Tyone. He's had his own struggles throughout his career. That he's an anomaly to me that he's even able to pitch after 2 Tommy John surgeries. So kudos to him for even being out on the field and being able to do it, because he's in a small percentile of guys that are capable at this point in his career. I feel like the Cubs are going to be a little more scrappy in this game. They'll line up. I think they're going to sneak across maybe 1 or 2. I even think they might take an early lead, but then San Diego is going to prevail. I just think there's kind of what I mentioned in the past. There's too much star power in that lineup, and especially that bullpen.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? I could even see if their bullpen, I understand more at home, went 2 innings today, and I think Mason Miller went, what did he go? 1 2/3?
1 2/3.
Okay, so even then, I could see maybe Suarez coming out again. I know Miller pitched game 1 as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to dabble Michael King into the bullpen. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do something like that. Even if Darvish has like a shorter start. I know Cease went, he couldn't complete 4 innings of work. So I do want to keep my prediction. I say the Padres are still going to win this series. Mike, do you agree as well? You think the Padres will remain victorious in this series? All right. I agree. I think the Padres actually might take an early lead, and the Cubs might be playing catch up. They might get 1 run, but it's not going to be enough. Once that bullpen is fully intact, it could be Morahone, it could be Mason Miller, could be Estrada, whoever it may be. I think, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael King comes out the bullpen for maybe an inning or 2. They secure this. It's how bad it's how bad the personnel is going to go for it. The teams want it. JV, do you think your prediction is going to stay the same, or are you switching it up?
No, listen. I did take him to sweep, so I'm obviously wrong. But I do think that the Padres will win the series. I don't have any confidence in Jameson Taillon. I think when it comes to consistency with him, it's length. That's the one problem with Taillon. The minute he's struggling, he's barely getting through 4 or 5. If that happens and the Padres are into that bullpen by the 5th inning, I really think it's going to be a wrap. If they could score 2 or 3 runs early, maybe even 4, that bullpen comes in maybe the 5th or 6th inning, I don't see how the Cubs stand a chance. I really don't.
I agree. And I'm kind of nervous watching this game because obviously whoever wins this is going to face my Brewers. So it's like watching this, it's like, okay, I hope that bullpen gets even more taxed. If it is the Cubs and somehow the Cubs win, which I wouldn't be surprised with how they played game 1, they could have a plan right there. If they take an early lead and let's say their bullpen pitches like they did in game 1, they're winning.
Yeah.
They're winning because that bullpen was stellar in game 1 for the Cubs. But I'm just excited to see who we're finally going to face. It's a little bit of that as well. Also, maybe Michael King doesn't make an appearance and maybe he starts game 1 of the NLDS. I just thought about that right now as I was going through the potential opponents. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this game. I do believe that the Padres are going to win, but I feel like the Cubs might strike a run or two, like Mike said. I could see that. I truly could see that.
So we got the potential. I know me and Joe have the picks to win both series are not the game 1 winners. And that has been 100% so far since this wild card round has been a thing. Brew, you're sticking with the Tigers, correct?
I am sticking with the Tigers.
So you're sticking with history on that side, and in this series, you're going Padres. So
it's over there.
We might witness the first team to come back from a 1-0 deficit and pull out the win in this wild card round. I mean, overall, like I said, I think this series it's somewhat interesting. I mean, I was disappointed in what I saw from the Padres in game 1, their lineup in particular. Yeah. They forgot to show up. Maybe they forgot that they were playing that day, but they were not there. I don't think that's going to be the case going forward. This is a lineup that could be very scary in a playoff run because if that monster gets let out of the cage, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem for a lot of teams and whoever is in their way. And they're hungry. They are.
Absolutely. I mean, look, you're talking about making history, game 1 deficit. If it's not broken in this game, I think it's for sure going to be broken in the game we're about to talk about right now. Game 3, Yankees, Red Sox tomorrow. JV, how are you feeling? They pushed it to game 3.
I mean, I wasn't feeling good for the 3 hours that the game was on, but I feel a lot better now. Carlos Rodon looked okay. I don't have any problem with his performance. I thought it was a gutsy performance. I do think in the 7th inning, he had trouble gripping the baseball. I don't know if you guys watching the game.
Yeah.
He was trying to throw his 2-seamer, and he kept looking at his fingers as if like, hey, what the hell? I can't grip my 2-seamer. He actually threw it again. I think it was just to see like, hey, was this like a farce? Was this like a joke? Like maybe I just was slipping. Let me throw it again. And then actually hit Duran in the back.
Yeah, I saw that.
But at that point, I'm like, get him out. Just take him out. There's no reason to keep him in. He obviously can't find his fastball right now. It has nothing to do with pitch count. He's not gripping the baseball. Maybe he was sweating too much. Couldn't get a good grip. Don't know what the case was. But his stat line was good. My thing is this with Aaron Boone. I just don't even know what to think at this point because you want to say analytics, fine, say analytics. But there's nothing analytical that tells me he's actually looking at the numbers because if he was, then I'd say, okay, he's doing this because of this. Yesterday, he goes out and pulls Fried after 6 1/3 when Fried could have easily finished that 7th. He was coasting. I mean, there was no indication that Fried couldn't finish the 7th. That's number one. Tonight, he goes out, he's talking to Rodon. You think he's going to get pulled, and he keeps him in a situation where if he pulls Rodon there, you kind of understand.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, is he trying to right the wrong from yesterday with today? You can't do that. Yesterday is done with. You can't say, oh, let me rectify my mistakes from yesterday and leave Rodon in now. No, it's 2 different pitchers, 2 different situations, 2 different potential outcomes. So to me, it's, again, the death of Aaron Boone is going to be how he uses this bullpen. It's literally that's it. The lineup No, the lineup is constructed fine. I know game one people had their their concerns about Ben Rice not playing, about Jazz not playing, but they could have won that game. They had bases loaded in the ninth inning with nobody out. They could have won that game.
Yeah.
So to me, it wasn't the lineup. The lineup was perfectly fine. It's how he utilizes that bullpen. It's who he calls on to take over for the starter. That's a big key to me. For example, Luke Weaver should have not come in that game yesterday. In game one, he should have came in maybe in the later innings. To me, it's can the starters get through 6, and if so, who are you going to go to? Because if they don't go through 6, it's all hands on deck at that point. So
Right.
if the starters could get the job done and get through 5 or 6 innings, then yeah, you're set up a little bit better. The Yankees need to score runs tomorrow. They need to do exactly what they did in game 2, jump out to an early lead. You could not have Connolly early get some type of momentum. I know he's a rookie, but you don't want the rookie getting momentum. It's not conducive to winning baseball if you're not going to be able to hit a rookie. If you can't hit a rookie in the postseason game, how are you going to play Toronto? How are you going to play Seattle? It's just not conducive to winning baseball. So the Yankees need to jump out early. Again, I don't care how they do it. Home run ball, sacrifice fly. I don't care. Balls in the gap. Figure out a way to put runs on the board before Boston does. And I think that's going to take a lot of pressure off Cam Schlittler. It's Cam's first start in the playoffs. He's obviously going to be nervous. There's going to be a lot of butterflies, a lot of, pregame, jitters and stuff like that. But early is going to feel the same thing, and the Yankees are going to have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, are you keeping the prediction the same? I know you had the Red Sox taking this series, or are you switching over?
No, I'm not switching. And I'll tell you why. From what I saw from the Red Sox, every time the Yankees scored tonight, the Red Sox basically immediately answered. They were in this game to the very end. I did feel that I thought this game was actually going to go tied into the ninth inning and the Yankees were going to get the walk-off because I felt like if the Red Sox let the Yankees score again, then it was probably going to be over. I just didn't think it was going to be the way it played out. I thought it was actually going to be a Yankee walk-off. But the Red Sox, their lineup was right in this game. Trevor Story right in the mix again. Came up with a huge game and a huge clutch spot to tie it. He had a 2-run single, I believe.
2-run single, and then the solo shot.
2-run single in the first, tied it. No, not in the first, maybe the second. And then the home run in the sixth, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So he imprinted himself all over this game. Like I said, Boston is going to find a way to fight. They put together a lot of big at bats, and they left a lot of guys on too. They had the bases loaded twice, from what I remember, and they just couldn't execute. And that is kudos to the Yankees pitching tonight. I was texting with you guys during that game. Fernando Cruz looked like a psychopath coming off that mound, and I loved every second of it. I did. I think that was a little bit of the edge. Could have been at least, but like I said, Boston responded almost immediately every time the Yankees scored, and that cannot be a thing. You want to kill momentum as soon as it happens. You go up a run or two, you don't want to give it right back. Because now you're just going to keep shifting momentum back and forth, and then you're going to deal with, like Joe said, the anxiety of that game for 3 hours. You're going to be, sitting there biting your pillow, throwing stuff, acting like Frank the Tank, I guess. But, I mean, so I'm sticking to my guns. I mean, especially tomorrow, it's kind of a crapshoot because you got 2 rookies on the mound. We have no idea what's about to happen tomorrow. This could be a wild one, if I'm being honest.
I agree. I agree. I'm going to keep my prediction. I think the Yankees are going to pull off this losing game 1 but winning the next 2. I think they're going to win this series. JB, do you think Will Warren might make an appearance out the bullpen or no?
Only if the game is out of hand. So, for example, if Cam for some reason goes 2 1/3 and he can't get through 3 or he can't get through 4, maybe he comes in an earlier role. I don't. If Cam gets through 5, I don't see Warren making an appearance in this game. I think it's all about length at that point. If Cam gets pulled earlier than the 4th, I could see Warren making a potential appearance.
Fair enough. That makes sense. I only asked because I don't know how many bullpen pieces have you guys used 2 days in a row. I know Devin Williams was used game 1 and now 2.
Both Bednar and Williams were used games 1 and 2. Luke Weaver got the night off tonight. Cruz was also used as well game 1. So they actually used 3 of their guys.
Something to look at.
listen, you're gonna have it's a win or go home game. So
Yeah.
everybody's gonna have to make a contribution at some point. Unless Cam goes 7, we may see 3 or 4 guys from the bullpen again. I do think that Luke Weaver will pitch tomorrow since he was off today.
Mhm.
So that's basically the one extra guy that we'll see. But everyone's going to have to make their contribution tomorrow. So I'm not really sure how Boone's going to go about it. But I think at some point we may see everybody if it's early enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot to discuss tomorrow. I mean, obviously, with 3 game threes, I don't know what the score of the Dodgers Reds game is right now, but
There's not going to be a game 3 tomorrow.
there's not going to be no game 3 tomorrow. That's all I have to hear. Look,
Yeah,
regardless,
it's 7-2 Dodgers currently in the 7.
perfect. Regardless, 3 game 3s, I'll take that 100% of the time. A lot of exciting elimination baseball. Yo, it's going to be a lot of hype for sure tomorrow. I'll tell you that.
So I'll say this, everybody out there listening, first things first, we appreciate you checking in with us. The likes, the subscribes, all the we'll get to that. So we have our predictions, we have our thoughts, and you guys heard them. So we want to hear from you. We want to see what your predictions are. We want to see what you guys have to say. Are we nuts? Do you think we're crazy? Do you think Bruce crazy, Jay's crazy, me? Whatever it is, that's fine. I'll take the crazy label. That's cool. I like it. It's fun. It's fun being on this side of things. So I will say this. Hit us up in the comments to this video or any of our social media platforms that we do have, because we are on TikTok with JBM Sports Media. We're on Instagram as well. Light us up. Let us know what your thoughts are, because your thoughts are just as important as ours, because you're going to keep the lights on in this place. You're going to keep this podcast, this company running, because we're going to be putting out product. And if you guys like what you see and you guys are commenting as much as you are, you're going to keep that motivation for us to keep going. And it does motivate. Anybody that does this at all understands that, because if you're talking to nobody, well, after a while, I might as well just go talk to the wall, So
Yeah, you're right.
in reality, we'd love to hear from you guys. Guys, any final thoughts going into the final day of this wild card round?
Battle of the bullpens for all 3 series. That's what I think it's going to happen. I think starters are going to be on short leashes. If you don't have it, you're going to get pulled. Look what Cora did tonight. Brian Bayo didn't have it. Got pulled after 2 1/3. Tanner Bybee, even though he gave up 1 run and had a few strikeouts, he got pulled after 4 1/3. Obviously Casey Mize got pulled after 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just don't have it, your bullpen's going to be on deck. So I do think we're going to see a lot of that tomorrow.
I agree. When it comes to the games tomorrow, I think a key thing to look at is, like Jay said, the bullpen. Also, check out how many starters go 6 innings and more. Just keep that in mind, because that's going to determine big time contributing to the bullpen. But like Jay said, Dylan Cease as well. He couldn't make it through 4. So it's going to be important. It's going to be really important, because I know the next games are Saturday and Sunday. So you have a little bit of rest, but not that much. Just keep that in mind. I do appreciate all the support, the videos that we did, our predictions, the shorts as well that I've uploaded here on YouTube. You can find us on JBM Sports Media on TikTok and Instagram. I have the links below for you guys. I really do appreciate all the support. It means a lot to us. Yeah. If there's anything you want to wrap up with, Mike?
No, you know what? The only thing I could say as far as the Boston and Yankee series, there's going to be a rookie that's going to look like a complete hero. I think at that point, somebody's going to do something special tomorrow. It could be either one of these guys, either one of these young kids. That's always interesting when you get. A few days ago, Schlittler was, but on the other side of things, it was supposed to be Giolito, and unfortunately, he's dealing with an injury. So,
yep.
I think like I said, I think one of these rookies are gonna, end up looking like a hero, and I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be unsung heroes.
Or they both job and their bullpens are in the 3rd inning. It could literally be that way.
That also too.
It could be
4-4. I feel like
it could be 4-4 in the 3rd inning and both starters are out.
I genuinely feel like each game tomorrow potentially, could be decided by maybe not so much a well-known, maybe a person that isn't really the guy you'd think of that would win you a ball game. I feel like that's how I think that's what tomorrow's theme is going to be. If I can call that. I guess my final thought on the day.
So let me before we wrap up, I have one single thing I want to go over.
Shoot.
Good.
We were talking about Ro was talking about the other day when he made his video in regards to history. Right
Okay.
now, the Yankees play the 6 o'clock game. I believe the Padres play at 3,
3.
Mhm.
and the Guardians play at 1. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, yeah.
So the Guardians lost their first game,
Mm-hmm.
and if they win tomorrow, they will be the first ever team to come back from a 1-0 deficit. Correct.
Correct.
Now, if the Padres and Yankees follow suit because they both lost their first games of their series, do they not count in history?
That's a great point.
Well, I wasn't the one. I wasn't the one that made that claim. I was.
No, I
against
know. Oh no, I know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Now, if Cleveland wins, do they say the first ever team to come back from an 0-1 deficit in the AL wild card?
The next ones don't matter, according to some people.
Does that completely shun San Diego and the Yankees?
No, there'll be
To some people, that's not history. But I will say this is regarding that video. If any of you guys have seen it, it is on the JBM TikTok.
TikTok.
There were a lot of comments in there that basically said, you know, if you're not the first to do it, then it's not history. I don't know. I scoured that definition multiple times. I have not seen that once. So if that is your version of history, by all means, that's cool. But I don't need to be ridiculed because that's your version of history. I mean,
right.
By definition, just saying.
I think those 3 teams should be in the history books together if they all won.
Especially they did it on the same day. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, one of them is not going to do it. I feel like it just depends. I have a feeling that one of them is not going to make that history. To be honest, I don't know who is it going to be. I think it's going to be Detroit.
Something shocking is coming, and I just can't put my finger on it at the moment.
Austin Slater walk off.
Austin Slater walk off.
No, he's not going to be. If Boone has him in the game,
he might get fired.
Like
he's not.
We got problems. Either there's an injury, someone didn't show up to the game. I don't know. What are we even talking about? Austin Slater. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just throwing a wild prediction, but I understand where Mike's coming from. Something wild might happen enough to somebody cost their team a game. Somebody's a savior that nobody saw coming. Who knows?
Those are always the best type of games.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really are. Those are always the best. You know, because it's easy if Aaron Judge is a walk-off home run in the 11th inning. That's easy. And that's what you almost expect. It's always that guy that does the unexpected that makes a game special, and it makes you remember it. You know, I mean, how many Aaron Judge walk-offs are there that we all remember? Probably not that many. I know there are. They exist. But
right.
it's almost watered down because it's Aaron Judge. And that's a horrible thing to say because he's one of the greatest offensive players we've ever seen.
Right.
You know, but it's – I mean, I heard it as a kid. I was born in the early 90s. Joe, you could attest to this. Bucky Dent.
Yeah.
Why do we know who Bucky Dent is? He wasn't a great ball player because he had a phenomenal moment in the playoffs.
Bucky Dent was like an Oswaldo Cabrera. He was a fill-in. He played, you know.
Hit a walk-off home run in the 70s, and I was hearing that as a kid in the 90s.
That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't supposed to happen.
No, absolutely not. It wasn't, but that was the curse of the Bambino.
Absolutely it was.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Guys, before we wrap, which we basically are at this point, again, I can't stress this enough. We appreciate you, all the subscriptions, all the likes, all the views, everything you guys are doing to help us out and motivate us to keep putting out content. And even if we are demotivated, even if we're exhausted till no end, like me, if you could see it in my face, I am beat. I wish I was sleeping right now, but instead, I also wish that I'm doing this and hanging out with everybody here. We appreciate you. This is so much easier with your love and support and everything that you guys bring for us. You've made this really easy so far, and we're looking forward to keep pumping out a ton of content as we can to get this out there. Like I said, we're a brand new startup that we're trying to make it, and we're trying to do it the right way. We don't like this whole disingenuous crap that goes on.
Not at all. We appreciate all you guys. Truly, I don't want to cut Ro off, but I appreciate all you guys. I think the support that you guys have shown in the shorts specifically, it means a lot. It's our first few shorts that we ever uploaded on YouTube in general. And to see them being somewhat successful, I really means a lot to me, seeing growth like that. And hopefully you guys check this out. Our predictions are going to stay the same, but we did preview the series pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. JB, you got anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Listen, besides the fans and the people watching, obviously they're the most important because we're trying to interact with them and show them a new side of sports media. Like Mike had said, we're not trying to be rage bait or clickbait and make up fake agendas and stories just to get you guys to listen to us. It's not the case. We'd rather go off an actual story and give our spin and our opinion on it the right way. Even if you don't agree with us, at least it's coming from a place where there's research behind it and it's just literally our opinion with facts behind it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like we may be backing up something that you disagree with, but we're giving you an opinion that is based on some type of standard, whether it's a stat, whether it's anything. We're just trying to be truthful, honest, and we feel that media, especially sports media, needs to make that turn because a lot of people are being misinformed, and we don't want you to have a sports debate with your friends, as crazy as this may sound, and the whole lunch table at school or the workplace during lunch break is misinformed with giving bad sports takes. And we want you to say, we want you to be able to hear something from us, and you guys bring that to your atmosphere and to your environment, and have a good solid conversation that maybe you heard some stuff from us. So, but I couldn't have asked for two better co-hosts and two better people that I'm doing this with. So that's also a key as well in this business, is having people that are aligned with your thoughts and your morals and your ideas. So kudos to you guys and kudos to all the fans out there listening.
You hear that, guys? He loves us.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys stopping by. And like I said, if you were having a good night, you must be, because you're hanging out with JBM Sports Media.